Werwolf, Hitler's young warriors, Hitler's teen killers. As the Second World War raged across Europe, Hitler's desperate grasp for power led to one of the most chilling aspects of Nazi Germany, the recruitment of children into combat. By the late stages of the war, with German forces suffering heavy losses and the Allied armies closing in, the Nazi regime turned to its youngest citizens, transforming them into soldiers, executioners, and suicide fighters. The Kahn, Hitler Youth, Hitlerjugend, had initially been a nationalist youth movement, indoctrinating boys and girls into Nazi ideology through camps, training, and propaganda. What had started as a tool for shaping the future of the Third Reich soon became a brutal war machine. By 1943, boys as young as 12 were sent to the front lines, armed with rifles too heavy for their small frames. Some of them were fanatically loyal, raised from childhood to believe in the Nazi cause, while others were forced into service under the threat of execution. One of the most feared divisions of these young warriors was the 12th SS Panzer Division Hitlerjugend, a formation composed almost entirely of teenage boys. These young soldiers, many no older than 16, fought with ruthless determination during the Battle of Normandy in 1944. They held their ground against seasoned Allied troops, not out of strategic skill, but out of a fanaticism instilled in them from birth. Allied soldiers were shocked to face an enemy so young, yet so willing to die for a lost cause. Among the most tragic figures of Hitler's teen army were the Werwolf units. Groups of teenagers trained in guerrilla warfare, sabotage, and assassination missions. In the final months of the war, as Berlin crumbled under Soviet bombardment, desperate Nazi commanders handed these children explosives and sent them on suicide missions. Some were executed as war criminals after the war, their youth offering no protection from the horrors they had committed. As Germany fell in 1945, the remains of Hitler's young warriors were found scattered across the battlefield. Some lay in their uniforms, rifles still clutched in their hands, their faces barely past childhood. Others were captured, their terrified eyes betraying the reality that they had been victims as much as they had been killers. The story of Hitler's teen killers is a grim reminder of how war corrupts innocence. These young soldiers were not born to be monsters. They were shaped into them by a regime that saw them as nothing more than tools for war. Today, their legacy stands as a haunting lesson on the dangers of propaganda, manipulation, and the loss of youth to the horrors of war.